USA. So we're going to be going over the Mutual Care Solutions product by Mutual Omaha, and we'll also be talking about the software a little bit. Just a little bit about myself. I've been selling long-term care for, I guess, I don't know, the better part of 20 years, and I spent 5-6 years in the field writing long-term care. I still do quite a bit. I probably write, I don't know, 5 to 10 policies a year. I used to do a lot of group enrollments, work with associations. I've worked with a variety of carriers over the years, very familiar with the industry and kind of what's going on out there. And so, but today I've been tasked with just going over the product in the software. I can't say that I've done this presentation myself, but know the product pretty well. So I'll go ahead and go through this, and at the end I'll go ahead and bring the software up, and we'll just take a look at kind of how to some quoting strategies, how to work the software. Having worked with a daily job, you know, I compare, I contrast long-term care policies. We quote the different ones. And so I can tell you the software for the Mutual Omaha is a software that actually we hired some software folks to make the software. It's not actually the WinFlex software that Mutual Omaha uses to quote it. It's designed by GoldenCare and our partners. A much easier way to quote the product. Everything is on one screen. Having worked with all the long-term care companies in the industry over the years, there's not a single software program out there that makes it easier to quote long-term care than this particular plan or software program that I'll bring up at the end of the presentation and kind of go over that with you. But really, everything's point and click. Click the riders on and off. The rate's immediately computed right in front of you. Couldn't be easier software to use. So let me go ahead and go through the product here. We're going to just kind of, I don't know, buzz through some of this stuff. It's pretty standard, a lot of long-term care policies. I'll try to point out what makes Mutual unique. And then again, we're going to go back through those benefits as they apply to the software as we're trying to quote. So we'll go ahead and go through this. Mutual Custom Solution, today's changing LTC market. Obviously, you want to have a strong company. You want to have a strong benefit. And a big thing here you're going to hear today is flexibility. You want to have a strong flexibility to be able to kind of tailor those options to fit your client's needs. I've always argued that the one-size-fits-all is kind of hard to work in long-term care. It's nice to have some flexibility, kind of fine-tune what's important to them. Whether you're working with a widowed lady maybe who's more concerned about, you know, staying at home, or other people are more worried about asset protection. Maybe some people tell you they don't want to burden their children. You know, whatever it is they're kind of looking for, it's nice to have some flexibility to kind of design a plan that's going to fit that. And it's obviously nice to have that big carrier behind you with Mutual Omaha. And again, with the carriers that are kind of getting out of this market, it's nice to know that this company is committed to the long-term care market. We have seen a kind of a rocky road in the long-term care industry the last, 5 years or so, with a lot of carriers getting out. I can tell you that we had our annual convention where we had the head of long-term care at Mutual Omaha, Randy Musil, came along to our convention, and we sat and had dinner with him, and he's telling us that Mutual is very committed to this long-term care market. I know that Hancock's gotten out, and LifeSecure went to only the individual market, and we've had a lot of their players drop out lately. Mutual is here to stay. They're actually adding a worksite program, and so that just tells us that they're rolling that out hopefully by the third quarter. So if a carrier is moving towards adding a worksite product, that's not an indicator they're leaving the market. So we couldn't be happier that they're strong, stable, secure. They're a good partner for us here, and they've got one of the best plans, if not the best, long-term care plan in the market right now. And so the nice big name of Mutual backing you. I believe Mutual is number 2 in national sales now for long-term care, soon to be number 1 with Hancock stepping out. So it's good company behind you. So going through the benefits here, there are 2 different plans that Mutual offers in their portfolio for long-term care. There's the Secure and the Custom. You're going to hear me talk an awful lot about the Custom plan. What I tell people more or less is there are very, very subtle differences. The biggest thing to point out here is that there's a 30% built-in cash benefit with Secure, a 40% cash benefit built in with Custom. The one thing you'll notice about the Custom is there are just more options. If I were to, the Secure solution is very simple. It's bare bones. It's heater and keys, not as many bells and whistles. But if I were to go over to the Custom and take out some of the options that are in the Custom, I could arrive back at the Secure solutions again. And so, by going over the Custom, by having the Custom, you have all that Mutual has to offer in their portfolio. So I just work with the Custom. I don't work with the Secure. I've got everything in the Custom that the Secure does. So I kind of favor the Custom, but I'll try to kind of go through some of the small differences. Okay, so policy limit, pretty standard here. With secure solutions, you get the 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, 5-year benefit. Custom solutions likes to call it a pot of money, which is essentially what long-term care is. You can go anything from $50,000 to $500,000 in $500 increments. The monthly maximums, secure is between $1,500 and $10,000. Same with the custom solutions. You'll notice the elimination periods. Again, secure has a little less options. You got a 90, a 180, or a 365 elimination period, where customs is going to give you the 0, 30, 60, 90, 180. Again, as we go through this, you're just going to see more options under the custom. More alternatives, more flexibility. Okay, built-in. Both plans have 100% nursing home. Assisted living, you can set it 50%, 75, or 100%, as well as the home care. You can set that at 50% of the nursing home, 75%, or 100%. My 2 cents on this, assisted living, I don't mind cutting that to 50 or 75%. Nationally, assisted living facilities charge 56% of what nursing homes charge. Assisted living facility claims represent a smaller amount of the claims. Most claims, again, are starting at home, eventually moving towards nursing homes. So with the assisted living, I'd like to put that at 50 or 75%. With home care, I never cut the home care benefit. 80% of claims start at home. Now, this, according to Genworth, has paid $10 billion in claims, Mutual. All the stats are going to tell you that 80% of claims start at home. And so whenever I'm comparing long-term care plans to other plans, the one area I look at how the home care stacks up, because that's what people are going to use. That's what people are going to want to maybe have some alternatives to a nursing home or facility. Again, having written 700 long-term care policies, I have a lot of clients. I hear a lot of things from clients about, come claim time, about wanting to pay family members or wanting to stay at home. And so I never want to cut the home care benefits. I keep those at 100%. When I talk about the cash benefit, we'll go more into family, but there's also adult daycare, 100% of the monthly benefit. Stay-at-home benefits. These are for things, again, when we're going to try to add things to the house to be able to try to keep a claimant at home. Things like caregiver training. Maybe we're going to, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we're going to train Mrs. Smith how to take care of Mr. Smith, maybe administer therapy, maybe it's help him with an injection. Durable medical equipment. We'll bring hospital beds into the house to try to keep an applicant there. Home modification, widening door frames, maybe putting handrails around the toilets. And we'll install the medical alert system. These are all things that you can get up to 2 times your maximum monthly benefit to help you stay at home. Bed reservation, again, up to 30 days. If you're in a nursing home and you go to the hospital, they'll pay to reserve that bed, whatever facility that you're at. Again, these are all pretty standard benefits in the industry. Respite care, 1 month a year, we'll give someone a respite. Both plans have this. Hospice care pays a maximum monthly benefit. No limitation period applies to that. International benefit, you have up to 12 months, essentially, to get care if you're overseas. Now, they're still going to require that you go to maybe a U.S. Army base to get certified, that you take your 2 out of 6 ADLs or your same triggers, but they'll actually allow you to get up to 12 months of coverage overseas. At that point, you want to come back to the States or the U.S., its territories, Virgin Islands, United Kingdom, Canada. So it's got a very generous international benefit. Waiver of premium. Again, you can get this for nursing home, assisted living, and home health care. Applies to them. Alternative care. Now, this is, again, a benefit that some carriers don't have. It's a very strong benefit. An alternate care benefit more or less says that even though right now we have things called nursing homes, we have assisted living, we have congregate care facilities and domiciliary care homes, there may be some type of facilities coming down the road that we don't have. As long as it's certified with the state as a care facility, they're going to cover it. To give you another example on this, years ago when I first started selling long-term care, we didn't have assisted living facilities as part of your benefit package. It wasn't an option. Why? We didn't have assisted living. And so when assisted living came to be, a lot of companies, the policies I wrote 20 years ago, they're not covering assisted living. Well, essentially, the industry had adjusted that and said, look, we can't anticipate what kind of care facilities are coming down the road. So as long as it's licensed, we're going to put an alternate care benefit into our policy that says, as long as that's a licensed facility with the state, we're going to cover that. Important to have that alternate care benefit. Okay, so cash benefit. And this is really the important thing in this policy. We talk about cash as king. I've sold long-term care, like I mentioned, for almost 20 years. And back when I started, we didn't have cash options. It was all reimbursement. And there's a problem with that. I can't tell you how many claims I've had from the old policies I've written that they tell me that, Husband's had a stroke. The wife's taking care of him. Maybe the daughter's leaving work to help take care of dad. Maybe the neighbor kid's mowing the lawn. All this informal care for the reimbursement model cannot be paid. That's why cash becomes so big. So with the mutual secure and custom, with the custom you've got a 40% home health care benefit. 40% of it can be paid in cash. So if you have a $5,000 monthly benefit, 40% of that is $2,000. So that's $2,000 cash that can be used to pay anyone. Now there's a maximum of $2,400 a month on this. That's what they cap it at, but that can grow with inflation. So again, the cash is a big part of a long-term care policy. There are plans out there that don't have cash. I won't go through all the carriers, but a lot of times the premiums are very similar. And I would just tell you, take it from an agent who sold a lot and had a lot of claims. If the premiums are the same and both companies are A+ rated, strong company like Mutual, you have to have a cash portion in your long-term care policy. Because come claim time, what you're going to hear from your clients is, can I pay my daughter? Can I pay my spouse? Can I pay that neighbor kid? Can I pay my church who's bringing me meals? All this informal care that happens. Remember, 80% of claims start at home, and 80% of the time it's family that rallies around to try to keep dad or mom at home. And so having that cash portion is paramount in selling long-term care. So no, enough on that. It does have the 40% cash benefit built into it, which is really just one of the key things about the product. Okay, inflation. We all know that the cost of living is there, and we need to inflate, keep inflation in check. We can add an inflation rider that goes along with the policy. And so mutual secure solutions are going to have a 3, 4, or 5. Okay, and they're going to have an option to either do a 20-year term on that 3 or 5%. Inflation buy-up not offered. You'll notice again our custom solutions. You can have any inflation from 1 to 5% in quarter increments. You can also have it only inflate for 10 years or 15 years or 20 years or a lifetime. And so again, what you'll notice with custom is just a lot more options. I'm going to go into the software again at the end of this product here, about another 5 minutes, and just kind of show you how some of that flexibility really comes into play and how it really strengthens the product. Okay, so again, this quarter point increment I'm talking about, you can literally do anything you want. You can do 2, 2 and a quarter, 3%. And then what you have is a buy-up option. Again, this is the custom plan. So let's just say you decide to go with, 3% compound. Well, then inflation really starts getting away. We see some massive growth, inflation rates in the nursing home, assisted living, industries. Well, you have the ability to increase to 4 or 5%. Maybe go from 3 to 4 or from 3 to 5, free of underwriting, anytime in the first 20 years of that policy or before your 75th birthday. And that's a big thing. So in other words, you're able to increase your inflation free of underwriting sometime down the road. So that buy-up is a nice feature. It's a way you can kind of step people into coverage, start them at maybe 1 or 2% to get them something, and then if it does get to be an issue, then maybe go ahead, you can increase that inflation option if they feel that's necessary. Okay, so optional benefits. You'll notice here again, the shared care and the spousal security benefit is available under both plans. So shared care is pretty standard. Spousal security benefit more or less is for those, I call them a one-legger. If only one spouse can qualify for benefits, we can sell the spousal security benefit, which basically loads the insurable spouse's policy up 60%, an extra 60% cash benefit that can be paid to the applicant to help take care of the other spouse once they go on claim. That's something certainly we could talk about. If you had a question about that, call your director. If you have one of those one-leggers, we call it, where one spouse is clearly not going to qualify, inquire about that security benefit. It's a nice way to handle that. Okay, joint waiver of premium rule says that once one of them goes on claim, both people are on claim or on waiver. And survivorship benefit says that if you both have a policy for 10 years, upon one of the spouse's death, the other person's premiums become paid up. Again, these extra, and they also have a professional benefit of up to 200% on your home health care. Remember I mentioned we don't like to cut it from less than 100%. You actually can double it to 200%. Very unique to the mutual policy. The only policy that does this. It allows you to get double home care. All those features, the joint waiver of premium, survivorship, and home care are available under the custom, not under the secure. Okay. Optional benefits, return of premium rider. Okay. Return of premium rider at death. Less claims. 3 times the initial monthly benefit. We call this the burial benefit. In other words, we'll give you 3 times. Let's just say you start with a $5,000 monthly benefit. So for a very, very minimal cost here, you can add a rider here that will pay you essentially $15,000. You die in your sleep, less claims if you die immediately. So essentially, you're going to get $15,000 back for a burial fund of some kind if you don't use these premiums, etc. So it's a nice little inexpensive. We do see people selling that. There's also return of premium rider at death, less claims. And again, these are a little less. There's also one if death occurs before age 65, a little less expensive. But they also have return of premium rider, less claims available under the custom. I can tell you that I'm not a big fan of selling the return of premium rider. I feel like if the people want to get their money back, you're almost better to go one of those LTC Life hybrid products. GoldenCare has their new one out. Where you get those premiums back if you don't use it, use it or lose it. So if people are worried about that, want to start adding the return of premium rider, I suggest you call a marketer here at GoldenCare and take a look at that life/long-term care hybrid. So it does a much better job of this, and the commission is considerably more higher on that scenario than using the return of premium rider. Okay, so again, these are 3 return of premium rider options that are available in there. They're not available necessarily under the secure, but under the custom. The most popular, of course, being that 3 times a monthly benefit. We call it the burial benefit that's built that you can get in there. Okay. What else we got here? Underwriting requirements briefly here. So you can apply up to from age 30 to 79. If they're between ages 30 and 64, they'll need to have a personal health interview. Anyone over age 65, they're going to require medical records and a cognitive exam. Okay, so if they're pretty clean and they're if they're between 30 and 64, they don't have anything wrong with them, they may not need medical records. Excuse me, they're going to order medical records at all of them. They'll do a pharmaceutical check, they'll order the records, and then your face-to-face interview for anyone between 65 and 79. If you are under age 65, you won't need to do the face-to-face, that's what I meant to say there. They will do a telephone interview with you. But if you're 65 or older, they're going to require that face-to-face. And these personal interviews, again, they last anywhere from 20 minutes to 40 minutes. And they're just an absolutely necessary part that has to be conducted in the applicant's home. And then, of course, your cognitive assessment, which is part of this personal interview. They say these things are with 99% accuracy, so I always coach my clients to don't have your grandkids, maybe you're babysitting the grandkids, or you have some company over when this cognitive test is going to happen. Make sure that you're in a quiet room where you can understand and hear clearly. Because once you fail a cognitive assessment, it's really hard to turn that over. So, okay, moving on here. Partner allowances. If both partners apply and get coverage, it's a 30% discount. If it's a married couple where only one qualifies, they're going to get a 15% discount. The preferred health discount is 15%. And if you are a member of a sponsored association or a certified association, you get a 5%. If you're a producer buying one for yourself, you get a 5% discount. We also have a common employer 5% discount. And so you can only get one of these 3. But so essentially, if you got preferred and you got your married insured and your partner association, the discounts are multiplicative. And so you can get some pretty good discounts there. All right, so custom solutions. Just remember to kind of wrap up. That cash benefit we talk about, so important, that's a first day benefit. There is no elimination period tied to the cash benefit. No restrictions on how it can be used. It's built into the policy. If I go with $5,000 a monthly benefit, there's a $2,000 a month cash benefit. And remember, that is growing with inflation. Waiver of a home care elimination period and 200% professional, again, are very strong home care benefits out there. The inflation option flexibility, again, we can fine-tune that. I'm going to show you an example of this shortly of the 3% versus the 5%, or kind of how you can play with those. There are some very nice, powerful inflation buy-up options. So again, if they go a little bit lower to save some money to begin with, maybe just to get them into some coverage, we can always increase that inflation option down the road. Okay, and to wrap up here again, one thing I want to touch on, GoldenCare is your complete portfolio for long-term care answer. If you do long-term care and you can't get in, they can't qualify for benefits, or you get declined, remember we have a critical cash plan that we use. That's a great alternative. It can get you up to a $400,000 pot of money at $6,000 a month. They don't do the medical records. There's 6 underwriting questions. They can get, in other words, this we've built a long-term care plan and a critical illness chassis. So for any decline cases or ones you don't think you can get through, we do have a product for you. We also have a Kemper home health care plan that can pick up some of the truly hard-to-place cases. So without that, I'm going to go ahead and kick over to the software here. Okay, I've got you guys off mute so you can ask any questions if you'd like, but let me bring the software up. If someone could just give me a shout that they can see the software on their screen now.
Yep, it's a little blurry, but it's there.
Okay. Again, I just want to take 10 minutes to go through this. This is truly the easiest software to work. Just going through here, I'm going to design what you might see out there as competition, maybe from a financial planner who doesn't do much long-term care, maybe from someone who's just gotten advice about how to design a long-term care plan. I'm going to show you basically how to put one together, and I'm going to show you kind of the flaws with that in a better way. So the first thing I'm going to do here is we're going to just go through this and design a plan. And I'll just kind of review some of the things we covered. So Missouri here, I'll just put Missouri for the state, so you pick your state. Okay, first of all, I guess, and then you look at custom versus secure. You'll notice if I want to access secure, I'm just going to go ahead and hit the secure button. You'll notice a lot of the options, it's going to go to green, it's a blue screen here, a lot of your options disappear. A lot of your different whistles, and so I'm going to go back to the custom again. Remember, if I use the custom, I have access to everything that this plan has. So I just stay with the custom just to simplify things for me. But let me go ahead and design it. So first of all, I'm going to do Missouri. I'll do custom. I'll do husband and wife here, male and female. Now I'm going to just do, I'll do a 60-year-old and a 55-year-old. Okay. I'm going to put them at select. I can kind of speak to this. I can tell you that, 7% of policies are being issued at preferred now, which is down from even 5 years ago. We saw as much as 17 to 20% being issued at preferred. And so clearly the carriers have gotten a little tighter on preferred. So I just like to, just for sake of argument, I'm going to quote select. Now again, that's the kind of top bar. So I do state, married couples, both insured, both applying, male, female, here's their ages, and put that in, and I'll put select. Now if you want to put your name on these quotes, I'm going to go over here, and I'm just going to hit this little round bar, and it's going to pop this up. And so I'm going to type in my claimant's names, John and Pam Woods in this example. So I put their names in there. I tab down here to put my name in as an agent. Okay. Then I close this up. Okay. Now, just for sake of argument, I'm going to show you, I guess, the kind of incorrect way to quote a long-term care policy, and then I'm going to show you a much better way to do it. So, you see a lot of this out there when people are quoting it. So let's just say people are going to write $150 a day, which is $4,500 a month. So $150 a day for a 5-year period of time. So I'm going to do $150 a day or $4,500 a month, and that's going to give me a 5-year benefit. Of course, this pool of money is $270,000. So at $4,500 a month, that's a 5-year benefit, right? Standard 90-day elimination period. Okay. I'm going to do my inflation here with lifetime. Remember, I can do a 20-year, a 15-year term on that. That changes the premium a little bit. I'm going to come back and kind of go through some fine-tuning on this. I'm not home care waiver for now. And I'm going to put this at 5% compound. Again, you see a lot of financial planners or people go out and they research they should buy long-term care. They find out they should get a 5-year benefit. They should get at least $150 a day. They should get 5% compound. Okay? They got 100% assisted living and 100% home care. Okay, we're not going to do any of the shared care. I'll come back and go through the shared care, survivorship, joint waiver, those things we talked about in the seminar. I just want you to take a look at this premium. Okay? This premium here, and this plan, by the way, is very flawed in its design. But this what we see this a lot out here. As long-term care, I don't want to say experts or as long-term care enthusiasts, I just wouldn't design a plan this way. This premium right here is $8,600 for this married couple. Okay? I'm going to change a few things. Hopefully I can kind of enlighten you guys on a much, much better way to design a plan that can save a ton of money and give them a lot more benefit. Okay, so first of all, I want to take a look. This is something you can do. I'm going to take a preview on this. I'm going to hit this preview button, and this is going to show me some of the things I can, what the benefits are. So I use this top page, and this I will blow up here a little bit so you guys can see it. I sell a lot right off this page. I really do. This page is going to kind of show them that you've got a pot of money of $270,000. You've got an $1,800 cash benefit that's built in there. You get a $4,500 benefit. Remember, that's 40%. You get the pot of money at $270. You have $4,500 for nursing home, $4,500 for assisted living, $4,500 for home care, 90-day elimination period. Your benefit period is 5 years. This is a partnership plan. Here's your inflation. There's your premiums. Again, $86.17. If you want to jot this down, I've got it written down, so I'll come back to it. But I want to take a look at the second page, is future value. So this is a 5% compound with $150 a day benefit, pool of money of $270. So I'm going to take a look at future value. So just real quick, and I've got it written down. So in other words, right now it's at $4,500. In 10 years, it's going to be paying $7,300. In 20 years, it's going to be paying $11,903. Okay. And in 30 years, it's going to be paying $19,444. I'm jotting these down so when I come back to illustrate this. All right. The pot of money has a 270, then it's at 439, and 20 years is at 216. There's 716. All right. So I'm going to go back to my input page here again. And again, this is I'm going to go ahead and take this up to $250 a day or $7,500 a month. Okay? Now, I'm not going to change the pot of money. So you still got a pot of money of $270,000. So I'm not changing anything in that respect. You still have the same amount of insurance. That's, of course, just moving my years down to 3 years. Don't get hung up with years, folks. It's a pot of money no matter how you slice it. Any long-term care policy you sell out there now is a pot of money. And so if I'm only spending $150 or $200, the rest of the money is going to stay in the account. And so I might start at home care and eventually end up at nursing home. So, I always tell people, how long is $270,000 going to last me? Well, it's going to last you somewhere between 2.8 years if it's straight reimbursement, or if you're getting some combination of, or there's the 2,400, it'll last 9.38 years if you're getting a cash benefit for the home. If you're getting a full amount, it's going to last you for 2.81 years. So again, it's always a pool of money. Okay. So again, I'm going to take 7,500. Well, now instead of using 5% compound, which again I am not a fan of. Matter of fact, I'll go as far as to say 5% compound is the incorrect way to sell long-term care. Unless you're talking to a 45-year-old, the benefits of that are so far down the road that I think a lot of times it prices people out of long-term care, and the benefits just don't fit. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3% here. Okay. Now, what have I done to this? I'm also going to go to the assisted living. I'm going to lower that down again because now 50% of that 7,500, about 3,750, pretty close to where I was before on the assisted living. So what have I done? I went to, instead of 4,500 a month, I went to 7,500 a month. I went to 3% compound instead of 5% compound. I lowered the assisted living. Look at my premium now, folks. It's $5,094 instead of $8,617. I saved them $4,600, $4,500 on their premium. Excuse me, $3,500. That's a huge, huge savings. And now look at the future value. What have I really done? Now this person has $250 a day instead of $150 a day. Unused amounts stay in the account. So the fact that you've increased it that much, you've increased their cash amount, you've increased their monthly amount, their home care amounts. And so I'm going to take a look at future values now. And so again, this is a 60 and a 55-year-old couple. I can tell you that average claim happens at 81. So let's just take a look at this. Again, here's that same piece of paper. It just kind of shows me the same, information as we had before. It's, so I can go through this with them. I can tell them that, it's a $270,000 pot of money. Now it's $2,400 a month, $7,500 for that, $3,750 for assisted living, home care is $7,500, 90-day limb, 3-year term, still the same pot of money. Again, don't get hung up on years. Years are kind of meaningless. It's a pot of money. All right, 3% compound now is the difference. Premium now, $5,094 as opposed to $86.17. Again, $3,500 less. And let's look at the future value then. So now, for that savings, for cutting their premium by 40%, let's look at the future values. Now, previous to this, we started out at $4,500. Instead, we have $7,500 in 10 years. With the other way of doing it, we had a benefit pool of $7,300. Well, this is $10,000. In 20 years, we had a pot of money of $11,936. We're still at $13,547. In 30 years, the benefit is $19,000 doing it the old way. This one's $18,205. So it basically at year 29, this will cross over. The average claim happened almost 10 years ago for these folks. And I would also argue, now if you're saving the $3,500 in premium for 30 years, you've saved $75,000. Let's forget investing it. So add that to your pot of money or your bottom line. This is just a much smarter way to design a long-term care policy. It gives the client a lot more benefit for their dollar. And again, the savings on the premium are 40%. So again, having that flexibility, now I could take this and extrapolate this further. I could go to the software then and even go with, 2% compound, and then $9,000 benefit. And a partnership. In other words, you could play around with this pot of money so we don't get hung up on so that's even lower. And this crossover point, so now I put up at $9,000. Still the same pot of money. Premium's now $4,500. I've darn near cut their premiums in half. And so, the argument is that the crossover point is going to be 30, 35 years. Well, let me just tell you, the need for long-term care is greater when both these folks, let's just say they retire at 65 and 60. Well, if John has a stroke when he's 64 and goes to a nursing home the rest of his life and wipes her out, $500,000, that's what she was planning on living on the next 25 years. So if they make it to 90, I can tell you long-term care claims show that the claims are very short if they do make it to 90. But the point is that they've lived through their retirement, the need for long-term care starts to diminish. And so, again, it's called front-loading the policy, but having the ability to change the inflation and really be creative is you can save your clients, you can see a ton of money. And long-term care has gotten expensive, especially for females. So to have this tool to be able to tailor the product to exactly what you need to try to save the premium and still give them a decent benefit, it really, I love having this plan with the software and the flexibility that we have there. Now, again, if your next case, if it seems like it's a little confusing for you, the next case you have, please call us here at GoldenCare. Talk to any of our marketers, and we'll help design a plan for you. Maybe the client just bought one last year, and we want to just go ahead and maybe beat it. It's very easy to beat a plan that was just not, if it was written 10 years ago, we can't do much with it. But, if the next time you have a case, if you want to go over the software with myself or any of the marketers here, we'd be happy to do that with you. But kind of going back through a couple of benefits here, and I'll wrap it up for questions. So you have the ability here to, okay, let's just stay with partnership at 3%. Okay? And so, again, I think this is a better way to design that plan. If I wanted to add things like, by having saved this much money for them now, maybe I want to, put the home care waiver in there, so they have first day in the home care. Remember the cash portion, that $2,400 is available first day no matter what. Let's just put this back at, say, $7,000. So for a married couple at this age, if I were a starter plan, because, again, do you really need a 3 or 4 year benefit? Genworth has, again, $10 billion in claims paid. 90% of their claims don't exceed $150,000. And so, sometimes when I quote people, I can start them a little bit lower. I go to a married couple, I might start them with a premium of, say, $277 a month. If I go in there and try to quote them a $250,000 pot of money, and I try to quote them a $6,000 a month benefit, and a 5% inflation, well, now the down premium, it's $8,000. They're going to shy away from it. And so try to keep those premiums down and still get some benefit. This premium has a great flexibility to do that. What else have we talked about? The benefits here. So shared care. What if I want to share this pot of money? I click that on. I muted that again. I'm not sure that background we're getting. I apologize for that. So shared care. Again, I can click this rider on, so that premium not that much of a load, so they can share that benefit. Meaning that if one of them exhausts their $150,000 down to, say, $50,000, the other spouse can then use some of their pot of money. So shared care. Again, I click it on. I can show you how much it is. I like to use this software in front of my clients, actually. Survivorship. In other words, as long as they both have this policy for 10 years, upon one of their deaths, the other person becomes paid up. Now, if I see a staggered age band, if one's 60 and one's 50, I'm going to add that every time. It's more often than not that one's going to die before the other. Unless they die in a plane crash or car accident, one's going to die before the other one, so it becomes a valuable benefit. If they're the same age, I don't use it as much, but if they have that age disparity, I almost always sell survivorship. Joint waiver of premium. In other words, once one goes on claim, the other person then's premiums are waived along with their premiums. So they're both waived. The premiums are waived once one goes on claim. Very small load. In this example, it's a $100 load for both of them. So I do like the joint waiver of premium. If you had that one legger where one can't qualify for benefits, so now I'm going to put that spousal security benefit on there, okay? That's, again, at 60% load for 60% more benefit that you can use to take care of the other spouse. Okay, over here, again, I have that ability to change the assisted living facility. I'm not a big fan of 100% assisted living. Assisted living don't charge that much. It's a way to save some premium dollars that they're likely not going to get to. 10% of claims are assisted living, so it's a smaller chance to claim, and it just, they don't charge as much. So I'll set that at 75 to 50% when I'm quoting. Home care, I never cut that. I keep that at 100%. You do have that ability down here, remember, to go at 200% home health care. And so this example, how much does it add to the premium? Let's go back to 3% here. I don't use 5%. So if I'm going to add 2%, 100%, 200% home care, again, it adds $100 annually. And by the way, when you add that 200% professional home care, now that PDF, when you show it to them, you know, that it really looks nice now. Now I tell them you're getting, you know, instead of just getting the nursing home amount of, you know, your $5,000 for that. Now I can show them a $10,000 per month today professional, you know, home care. No other carriers have that ability, so you're not going to have anyone be able to quote more than that. They're not going to be able to match that benefit. If they try to do 10,000 home health care, they're not going to ever be able to replace your business. Now I can tell you that professional care in the home doesn't get used a ton, but maybe someone, you know, maybe mom's taking care of dad. And, you know, it's pretty easy duty. She just helps him get up, helps make him some eggs, helps him transfer, maybe slip into a shirt. But, you know, Thanksgiving's coming up and she wants to go to see her kids, you know, 3 hours away for the weekend. She needs a professional nurse to stay with him. Well, then it's nice to have that double amount. That $200 a day goes to $400 a day, or, you know, that $5,000 a month goes to $10,000. So she has the ability to get that professional help out there when she needs it. Again, more flexibility. This plan, by the way, and I'll wrap up with this. Comparing and contrasting plans is my job. This particular plan has the strongest home care benefits of any plan out there. You're just not going to beat it. And again, with 80% claims starting at home, that's the first place I look for in a long-term care policy for quality. And what I'm trying to design for folks, if I really want to be helping them out, I want to have a cash benefit that I can pay family members or anyone that wants to help them out, and I have strong home care benefits to try to give them the best chance to stay at home. So with that, I'm just going to kind of open up the questions.
The conference is now in talk mode.
So yeah, if anyone out there, any questions, comments, feel free to chime in.
Jeff, Kent Carpenter here from Atlanta.
Hey, Kent, how you doing?
I'm doing well. A quick question. You quoted a lot of statistics here. 90% of claims are less than $150,000, those type things.
Yep.
Do you have some type of stat sheet on that?
Oh, boy, yeah. We've got a folder full of stats, Ted. Could I find that for you? Yeah, I keep mine in an email folder. Yeah, Genworth's come out with that. And, you know, again, it's just percentage-wise and claims, 90% of people don't go beyond 2 years. That's been a pretty standard stat in our industry for 10 years. And Genworth has the actuarial data to back it up. But, yeah, I could find that for you, Ted.
If you would do that, I think you have my email.
Send me an email, Ted. I know we've emailed. Send me an email to remind me that if I can get that stat for you. But this is why, by the way, I don't mind designing a shorter, fatter policy. The long, skinny policy is just a bad model because, again, people aren't going to get to years 3, 4, and 5. If you talk about 5 years, it's less than 3% of people. So, you know, I like to front-end load them and keep those amounts on the short term. I don't mind selling a 2.5-year benefit. So, any other comments or questions out there?
Yes, this is Christine Doyle from California.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I sure can. Go ahead, Christine.
I should know the answer to this, but what did you click on to show how long that pot of money would last at different usages?
The pick max button, kind of a nice little thing we put in there. So in this scenario here, I'm just going to hit this little pick max, and that kind of shows me then, you know, so this is a $5,000 monthly benefit, $2,000 monthly cash benefit. Pot of money is $150. So if I were to just go right to cash and home care and never look back, it's $6.25. If I were to go right to the nursing home, which doesn't happen very often, and just use 5, it would last 2.5 years. I like using this, Christine, because sometimes when people, if you quote them 2.5 years, they feel like it's not enough. And I always tell them, well, it's going to last between 2 and 6 years. Because, again, rarely do people go right to the nursing home and start there. Again, most claims are going to start at home. It's going to be kind of a gradual. So this plan, when people ask me, how long will this last? I tell them between 2.5 and 6.25 years.
That's beautiful. Another, another quick question. Why were you showing the 5% association discount on there?
Oh, I don't know. You know what? I have it on
okay.
there. I apologize. I noticed that towards the end.
Okay.
Same thing will happen there, but because you know why? Because I just had this open because I quoted someone in Indiana that was part of an association before the webinar started.
Thanks.
So that was my mistake. I apologize to everyone there. I had that on there, but that's for employers, producers, or associations. You get the 5%.
Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm. So I guess I would just say this, folks. You know, this software, it's so nice because if I want to do that death benefit, you know, that 3 times monthly benefit, very little expensive to put a little barrel in there. I just like this software because anything I want to add immediately recalculates that premium. It's right there in front of me. Just the slickest software to use. There isn't an easier one in all the long-term care industry out there. So with that, you know, I appreciate you guys coming on today. Any other questions or comments, certainly you can email or call the office. Let me go back to here and leave the 800 number for a little bit. There's GoldenCare's number. If you want to call or again, just visit with a marketer. If you have a case you're working on, maybe you have a decline case or someone don't think is going to be able to pass underwriting, you want to talk about critical cash, let us, we're here to help. So I want to thank you guys for coming on this morning, and good luck selling.
Thank you.